In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make this beautiful fluffy wafer paper poppy. We're going to make all the petals, vein them, color, and all of that fun stuff. These are amazing on any arrangements and especially wedding cakes. So let's get started. To start making our wafer paper poppies, we will need wafer paper. I'm using 0.30 millimeters wafer paper. And my template. I will link it below, and we will cut all these petals to make our wafer paper poppies first. To transfer my template onto my wafer paper, I'm going to place it on top of my template and use pencil to outline your template. So see, now I have my large petal, and I'll do the same for a small petal. To cut my petals, I will create a few layers and cut maybe all 4 petals at the same time. And I'm always saving my scraps to make wafer paper glue. Now I have my petals. I will need 2 large ones and 4 small ones. To color and shape my wafer paper, I'm going to use my acetone wafer paper conditioner and add a touch of gel or airbrush color. And I'm applying my wafer paper conditioner with a brush, and I will also need my cornstarch and my veneer to shape my petals. I will link it below, but this is my favorite. It's called a peony veneer, and I'm going to keep it on my table to help me shape my petal. I will take my brush and load it with the wafer paper conditioner. I'm going to apply my wafer paper conditioner on both sides as even as possible, because if your wafer paper is about 0.27 or 0.30 millimeters, you might have to apply your wafer paper conditioner on both sides to saturate it. And I'm playing with my petal in between my fingers, making sure that my wafer paper conditioner is fully absorbed into my petal and it's very soft and flexible. Now, to prevent it from sticking to my mold, I will apply just a small amount of cornstarch on both sides as well, making sure that my petal is no longer sticking. And I will place it into my veneer, bump it side up, press with the other half of my mold and hold. What I find with wafer paper, the longer you keep your petals inside the mold, the better texture you will get. I will gently take my petal out of the mold, scrunch it or give it a little bit more texture because poppy petals are very textural. And I will put it upside down onto a former to dry. I'm going to make all my petals the same way and set them aside to dry. While our petals are drying, let's make our centers. For my centers, I'm going to use a piece of gum paste that I colored in this olive green color. And I will need a 20 or 22 gauge wire to make my center. I'm cutting my wire in half, and I will make a little hook at the top to make sure that my gum paste will stay on my stem. And I will take a small piece of green gum paste, warm it up, maybe a size of a small blueberry, so something like this. And I'm going to poke it with my wire, bringing everything together and securing gum paste onto my wire. Elongated cylindrical shape. And now to form my center, I will take a pair of tweezers and pinch at the base like this. And this is going to become the base for our poppy. Now for the stamens, I will bring back my template and I will need 2 circles made out of wafer paper, roughly in this size. To make my stamens look more delicate, I'm going to take a small pair of scissors and cut lines around the whole circle. And now I have my fluffy wafer paper stamens, and I have my center. To put it all together, I'm going to use my pollen mixture, which is just a mixture of semolina flour and yellow petal dust. And to attach that to my center, I'm going to use confectioner's glaze, because confectioner's glaze dries very quickly and it won't melt your wafer paper. I will take my center first and apply a thin layer of confectioner's glaze on all my raised part. Dip it into my pollen mixture. You can see how beautiful and textural it looks. And I will do the same for my wafer paper stamens. I will apply my confectioner's glaze just on the edge to attach my pollen only on the outside of my stamens, and dip it into my pollen mixture the same way. Now that my petals are dry and I have everything I need to assemble my flower, let's put it all together. For that, I'm going to use my Wafer paper glue, and Wafer paper glue is a mixture of Wafer paper scraps, the one we saved from cutting our petals, and water. And I will start with my stamens first. I will apply a generous amount of Wafer paper glue in the middle. I need to melt my Wafer paper a little bit, but not to break it apart. So just enough to make it sticky. And then I will bring my center through my Wafer paper stamens like that and place another one underneath it. All I need to do now is to pinch it everything together. And same for my petals. I will prepare all my petals. I have 4 small ones and 2 larger ones. And I will apply a very small amount of Wafer paper glue at the base of my petals just to make it sticky. And Wafer paper sticks to Wafer paper very easily, so we just need to place our petals the way we wanted to place them. Most of the time I'm trying to avoid symmetry just because nothing in nature is symmetrical, so I'm placing my petals in a more like a random order. Then the last step, I will make a hook like this and place it upside down to dry because I like my flowers to be a little bit more rounded and closed. And now you know how to make our delicate, fluffy Wafer paper poppy flowers. Don't forget to download that template. It's included in my all-in-one Wafer paper guide, so you can make your own Wafer paper poppy.